He is chairing a high-level meeting today at his residence to review the Indus water treaty. There is pressure on the central government to scrap the treaty in which India has unfettered rights to the rivers Beas, Satluj and Ravi, while Pakistan has unrestricted access to Jhelum, Chenab and Indus. This, in fact, could have massive consequences for Pakistan, as 90% of the country's irrigated area depends on water from the Indus. Scrapping the treaty could be seen as vengeance for the Uri attack, which left 18 Indian soldiers dead. On the other hand, it could also have a serious backlash from Beijing that has shown its support to Pakistan and could block water to India. Anindya Banerjee is now joining us with the very latest from outside the Prime Minister's residence in Delhi. Anindya, first of all, take us through the options that the government will be mulling.
Well, Maha, to begin with, what the government is considering at this point of time is to review the entire existing treaty of Indus water sharing treaty that they signed with Pakistan back in 60s, which is quite generous to be fair to both the countries, because 80% of the water, more than 80% is going to Pakistan and only less than 20% is coming to India. Now, what government of India is doing and going to do, they are not going to abrogate the treaty. That's what sources are going to telling us. What they are going to do is that whether they can.
All right,
do some
Anindya,
fine change.
I'm afraid we'll have to leave it at that. On the Indus water treaty, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is chairing a high-level meeting at his residence to review the Indus water treaty in the aftermath of the Uri terror strike. There is pressure on the central government to scrap the treaty in which India has unfettered rights to rivers Beas, Satluj and Ravi, while Pakistan has unrestricted access to Jhelum, Chenab and Indus. Now, this could have massive consequences for Pakistan, as 90% of the country's irrigated area depends on water from the Indus. Scrapping the treaty could be seen as vengeance for Uri attack, which left 18 Indian soldiers dead. On the other hand, it could also have a serious backlash from Beijing that has supported Pakistan and could block water to India. All right, so this high-level meeting is to start at Prime Minister's residence any time now, apart from ministers and senior officials really from the Ministry of External Affairs. We will see other important officials part of that meeting to help the Prime Minister take a decision on this crucial aspect. What exactly now is the Indus water treaty? Let's look at this explainer now by my colleague Devina.
Now remember, there's a review of the treaty. We're not expecting a complete abrogation, but the gains and the risk are as follows. Abrogating the treaty can choke Pakistan's water supply. The risk is India will receive international flag as well for reneging on treaty obligations. The other aspect, that India can invoke Article 62 of Vienna Convention on law of treaties. The risk is Pakistani citizens will suffer. There will be no impact on terror infrastructure as such. No loss of Indian life, as without firing a single shot, India is giving a befitting reply to Pakistan. The risk is Beijing can cite precedent to block rivers flowing from China as well. So this water war could extend. Now, another gain that we see is it's a strong message to Pakistan to choke terror supply. The risk is blocking river water can flood Indian cities as well, because right now we do not have the storage capacity as outlined in the Indus water treaty.
Anindya Banerjee is now joining us with the latest inputs from outside the Prime Minister's residence in Delhi. Anindya, first of all, when is this meeting starting, and who are the big officials that are going to be part of this meeting today to help the government take a call on the Indus water treaty?
Well, Maha, to begin with, the meeting was supposed to begin at 12 p.m. This afternoon. It's just 10 past 12. We've seen senior officials' car from the MEA has gone inside 7RCR. No other officials from the MEA, or for that matter from Water Resource Minister, have not gone in so far. But yes, they are trickling in. But as far as what are the options before the government, as Devila was pointing out, there are, abrogating is not the government is seriously considering at this point of time, considering the fact 90% of Pakistan's agriculture depend on this. But what India wants to do is to send a signal that it can use it as an option.
Yes.
But today's meeting particularly is just to weigh the pros and cons, and that's why MEA officials as well as no minister is going to be a part of this meeting. That's what they're told by our sources within the MEA, that only it's a bureaucratic meeting where it will be chaired by the PM, Prime Minister himself.
Okay.
He'll find out what are the technicalities, and there are also certain provisions within the existing treaty that allows India to use use more water for its own consumption, for domestic purposes as well as for energy generation. So those are the aspects that will be explored. But having said that, what is perplexing South Bloc at this point of time is that yes, India sends 80% of its Indus water to Pakistan, but also in return, China gives 37% of Indus River to India. So what if China stops?
And that really is a cause of concern, Anindya, as Devina was pointing out. In fact, let me go back once again to my colleague Devina, who will explain to us what the Indus Water Treaty exactly is like.
Now, here's a look at what the treaty is all about. You've been hearing about it in the news. It's been making headlines. So according to the treaty, India has exclusive access to the eastern rivers, that is Satluj, Beas and Ravi, while the western rivers are completely accessible by Pakistan. That means that 80% of the Indus Basin water is given to Pakistan, while India gets around 19.2% water. And that treaty isn't skewed in favor of Pakistan since 1960. It was a goodwill gesture by India at that time, but now there is a demand that it should be reviewed.
Many thanks there to both Devina and Anindya for getting us the very latest as well as a perspective on that story.